What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you, and I wanted to bring you a story about the crime in this country. And we have truly got to be honest, man. Crime is going out of damn control in this country. And again, these liberal leftist politicians that you vote for because, you're black and you feel like, hey, I ain't black if I don't vote Democrat. And again, if I'm white, I better vote Democrat because, again, if I don't, then I'm a racist. I'm a homophobe, I'm a transphobe, I'm whatever. And we truly got to be honest. First of all, man, none of this stuff is real. And second off, what they're doing is they're trying to bully you into putting them in power. Again, if you don't vote the way that we want you to vote, then guess what? We're going to ruin you. We're going to ruin your reputation. Again, if you vote Trump, if you vote Republican in any way, then you know what? We're going to call you a racist. We're going to call you a transphobe, a homophobe, whatever. Again, we have truly got to ask, that is what they do now. That is the way they get people to go along with their agenda. Because people are too afraid of standing up and being labeled as something. Those labels, they don't mean a damn thing. But guys, we truly get to understand they are destroying our country.
Liberals voted for lawlessness, and unfortunately, they're paying the price. Police arresting one of the suspects behind that viral LA flash mob robbery. But get this, she was let loose from jail on similar robbery charges just one day before the brazen heist. Wow. And you can thank radical DA George Gascon's cashless bail policy for that one. Chicago also voted for liberal lawlessness. A TV news crew, they just got robbed at gunpoint while literally reporting on robberies. There's no footage of it because the crook stole the damn camera. And then there's the capital of America's crime crisis, the San Francisco Bay Area. One of the liberal leaders there becoming a victim of his own neighborhood. While a council member was speaking with shopkeepers about public safety, he got robbed of his wallet and keys. He wasn't shocked. He even joked about it. Quote, "The thing is, they're not going to get much from it. I'm on a politician's budget." Janine, we've been covering this more and more. It's like city council members, TV news crews. The crime is rising from the bottom up, and no one knows when it's going to stop.
Well, when Gascon was up for a recall, it failed. Okay, Californians voted for Proposition 47. Now, I want to take you down a little history for a second. Kamala Harris was the Attorney General at the time of Proposition 47. She called it the Safe Neighborhood and Schools Act. What it did is it released felonies to misdemeanors as it related to grand larceny. And if you were a felon already in jail, you could be resentenced to a misdemeanor, okay? So then they passed 57 Proposition where they called it public safety. Californians voted for that, where they get you out of jail sooner for a nonviolent felony. What's a nonviolent felony? Rape of an unconscious woman, hostage taking, human trafficking.
Hostage taking is nonviolent?
It's nonviolent. So what I'm saying is in California, you've got to dig below the first layer and find out what they're trying to do to you. On the first day in office, Gascon said, "I am going to end cash bail."
So we have truly got to be honest, man. This country is being taken over by a bunch of damn wackos. It truly is. The thing is, I couldn't even imagine in my lifetime hearing that that raping an unconscious woman would be called nonviolent, a nonviolent felony. Really? So it's not violent. It's a felony, but it's not violent. So it gets a lesser of a sentence if you rape her when she's unconscious. Guys, can we truly understand just how sick that is? It truly, truly, truly is sick. But again, that's the way this country is going. Right here, this looting that happened in Los Angeles. again, the girl that they arrested, one of the first people they arrested for this, again, she was let out of jail for doing something very similar that day before. And again, that ought to show people that, again, if you don't face the consequences of your behavior, you're going to continue. You're going to do it again. It's going to get worse. It's going to get more repetitive. So again, we have to have laws. People have to understand that a lot of people, they're just plain evil. They truly are. And the only thing that's stopping them from doing something to you, doing something to your family, doing something to your property, is the consequences that they're going to face, nothing else.
Literally put an end to it. So here's what we've got to do. In California, everyone's suffering. If you live near the water, your boat's getting robbed. If you're at a store, your store's getting, and we're all paying for it through insurance, through increased retail costs, as well as paying for security in the stores. If you end up robbing a store, and you'll get bailed the same day so that you can then hit another store. So if you're out on bail for theft of one store, they've got to change the law. It should be a quick fix that you can't be out on bail for two separate felonies. That can't, who's against that?
Right.
Because we're allowing a whole generation to literally rob us blind and turn us into a third world country.
Piers, how do you see it?
I think it's time to go Singapore. I say as a California resident, I have a home there. It is completely out of control. This kind of impunity, the brazen impunity of these flash mob robbers now, someone called it organized retail crime. I think it's a very good phrase for what you're seeing. They are completely brazen and acting with such impunity because they think there is zero chance of being properly held accountable for what they're doing. And even if they are caught, they'll be let back out and they can do it all over again, as quite a few of this number were, not just that one person. In Singapore, a person found guilty of robbery of this nature will get a jail term of 2 to 10 years, and they get caned at least 6 times.
Caned. I thought you were going to say they get their hand
They don't get their hand cut off for that. But if the robbery is committed between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., in other words, at night time, the offender will get a jail term of 3 to 14 years and 12 strokes. And if you hurt someone in the process of your robbery in Singapore, you get 5 to 20 years along with 12 strokes. And people will be looking at this going, we couldn't possibly do that in America. Well, why are you letting this happen? Actually, I think a lot of people watching this will go, Singapore sounds like they got this about right, because guess what? The robbery rate in Singapore is 1.3 cases per 100,000 population. Nobody does this in Singapore. You know why? They get a whack on the backside and they get sent to jail for years.
You know what, guys, man, Singapore sounds pretty good right about now. It does. You know, again, we need to enforce our laws. We need people to face the consequences of their behavior. We do. And the thing is, man, we don't have to have somebody do 20 years for stealing a pack of gum. Of course not. But again, we have got to bring back actual punishment. We have got to understand that works. That deters criminals from behaving in certain ways, from committing crimes. Because guess what? They're going to have to go to jail for quite some time. So again, or they're going to face a fine. You know, again, these kids that are out there in the streets that are looting and whatever in Chicago and stuff, not only hold the kids accountable, but hold the parents accountable too. Because guess what? If you hold mama accountable, that stuff will end real quick. We have got to understand that if mama's going to face a fine, yeah. If mama is possibly going to face a fine, and if she doesn't pay that fine, she goes to jail herself. We have got to understand that that stuff will stop. But again, we're not going to hold them accountable. Because again, that's against these leftist, policies. Again, look at what's happening right now in San Francisco. Again, the DA is not prosecuting criminals the way that she should be. We got to understand that's the reason why Ron DeSantis let go of that one prosecutor in Florida. Because again, she wasn't doing her job. And again, the way they tried to bully him is by calling him racist and this stuff and that because she was black. But again, we truly got to understand if they don't get their way, they use their bully tactics. They call you racist or transphobic or homophobic or whatever. And again, man, that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything at all.
This is coming to your wallet, I think, because they're going to ask for a bailout because the people haven't come back since COVID. And that means not just to the workplace, but also to theater, to events. And so now all of those leases are going to be in trouble. There's going to be a huge credit problem, and they're going to have to come in and ask Congress to help them out, which means that all of you are going to have to help them out. But one of the main reasons people don't want to come into the city, and let's not even talk about Chicago, let's talk about Denver. Like, nobody wants to go downtown because they had revitalized it. It was fabulous. It was wonderful. And now they even had an event where they would close off the streets to traffic so that everybody could go down and like enjoy themselves. Well, they did it last year. All these businesses lost money. Why? Because nobody wants to go because you're stepping over homeless people and crawl through needles, and you're afraid that you're going to get robbed. And Denver's not the only one. Like, it's happening all over. So be prepared. The urban doom loop is coming for your wallet.
Well, I hate those street fairs anyway.
You do?
No, I hate them.
So here's the problem. This is what these people voted for. I mean, it's not like it hit them by mistake. Yeah, they were deceived in the advertising, no doubt about it. Those people that wanted the initiative outspend 15 to 1. I understand that. But at one point, people have to say, my life is destroyed. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I can't go shopping. There's no stores. The taxes are too high. My property values are dipping. And this is all self-inflicted wounds. You don't even need the severity of another country's culture or crime. We know how to do this. We've done it before. And now if you factor in Los Angeles, along with the writer's strike and the actor's strike, so they're not shooting. They're not shooting movies. They're not writing movies. They're not taping shows.
They're just shooting up.
Oh, yeah, they're shooting up, and there's homeless, and there's crime. Why would anyone live there? But I just don't want them to take this hellacious attitude and policies to other places, states like Texas and Florida, who won't tolerate it. This is all self-inflicted. This is not hard to correct. And maybe we are about to hit rock bottom and start fixing things.
They're going to have to be really honest about what's going on. You know, again, not only do we have to start holding people accountable for what they're doing, I mean, things are getting so bad out there now. We're going to have to hold people accountable to make any kind of a back roads, you know, any kind of a turn in the right direction. We're going to have to. But again, they are putting the right people in power to cause absolute destruction of this country. We have truly got to recognize that. Again, soon they're coming after your property, your house. You know, again, your family. You know, again, we're gonna be paying money, all this money to keep our homes that are basically not gonna be worthless or worth very little compared to what they used to be, compared to what we owe on them. Because again, they're gonna destroy property values. And again, we do have to look at that. You know, I think in San Francisco right now, you know, again, 31%, I think it is 31 or 34% of retail space, of office space is vacant. Because again, they can't lease it. So again, because crime is so bad, things are so bad. So again, we truly got to recognize, man, they will come to your town. They will come. So again, it might be a little bit, but it will come. That is what their agenda is. And again, they will come after all of us. And again, we will be stuck paying money on homes that are worth a fraction of what we owe on them because our property values are going to plummet. And already are in certain areas. So again, we're going to see that eventually. And I don't think it's going to be too long. I really don't. But again, we have got to start holding people accountable. We have got to start understanding what is happening to our country, holding criminals accountable and the politicians accountable, because basically they're criminals too. We're going to have to hold people accountable We're going to have to take back our country. We're going to have, and again, people are going to have to wake up and realize what is happening before it's too late. Hey guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.